Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great, and welcome back to another episode of the Mind of Mando. As usual, I'm your host, Armando Ortega, and I feel good. I don't know why. I feel lazy, feel kind of burnt out, but I feel good. 3-day weekend, that's probably just what it has done to me. I don't know. I haven't had a 3-day weekend in I don't know how long. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's been having an awesome day. I had a pretty swell day myself. I started off by making one of the biggest mistakes I have made in a long time, which is actually drinking a whole what is that called? Like equivalent of 4 cups of coffee. I know a couple episodes back I said I stopped doing that, and I did, but I made a little too much and I decided to just drink it, and I started feeling my heartbeat. It was kind of weird. But yeah, no, I just got stuff done today. Not so much. I did a lot of grocery shopping. Let me tell you, this inflation ain't no joke. Oh my God. I remember I used to spend about like $100 bucks for a huge trip to a grocery outlet. But in the end of the day, we used to get almost an entire cart full of food. Now, not so much. I could probably fill 3 bags and then 1 case of water. That's about it. But it's something. It helps save money. It puts food in the fridge, and it keeps us alive. So can't really start complaining. You hear anything throughout our podcast in the background? Tonight we will be having Serenades by the one, the only Skyrim Atmospheres vinyl pack. That's right. You already knew I was going to say that. Well, guess what? You never heard it with this Blue Ember microphone, which, by the way, is just beautiful. You might have heard my cat right there. But it's a beautiful mic. I could not be happier with it. I know I can go a little bit improvement, but that would just have to be me downloading a sound thing for my laptop. But other than that, it's beautiful. I remember I heard, oops, excuse me, that was my phone. I remember I heard it last night once I uploaded the video and everything, and let me tell you, such a huge difference. Even my buddy was just like, yo, yeah, no, that's a good mic. So I'm pretty happy with my purchase. But yeah, like I was saying, Skyrim Atmospheres vinyl, that's, we're going to hear it through this microphone. Hopefully you guys hear it a lot better. It's soothing. It's relaxing. It's beautiful. And because I am recording tonight at like 7:30 p.m., how do you say it? It just fits, especially for how my apartment looks. So yeah, welcome back. Not much has happened with me today aside from that whole coffee thing. Played some video games with my buddy in the AM. It was fun. Like I said, we were playing RDR2, just exploring. It makes me feel like a cowboy again, and I like that. I love feeling like a cowboy, you know. I have a stainless steel cup that kind of looks like the old school cups. It's pretty lit. You could taste the metal, but you know, whatever. Anyways, other than that, it's just same thing, different day. Well, anyways, today I was kind of like, I knew I wanted to podcast. I knew I wanted to speak into this mic, edit my video, upload it, so whoever hears it, not just me. And I didn't know what. That was my problem. I really had no idea what to talk about. And it sucked, you know? I love speaking, and I have so much on my mind at all times, but sometimes it's just difficult to put it into words. You know, today I just did my stuff, went grocery shopping, came home, cooked dinner for my lady. And by cooked dinner, I mean I just heated up some raviolis that were already made, some pesto, and some garlic bread. And that was about it. It was pretty tasty, but let me tell you what. I made the mistake of listening to the instructions on the back of the ravioli. You're just supposed to boil water and just, you know, make them edible. But my dummy self listened to the package, and the package was like, hey, fill up with 4 quarts or whatever of water per serving. And I was just like, per serving? But we have 2 servings, one for me, one for my lady. They wanted me to have like 8 quarts of water, and so I obliged, like my dumb self. So when the water was boiling, it didn't overflow until I added the ravioli, and then I was just cooking it. After the excess water fell out, I was just cooking it, and then I thought to myself, hey, I could have done this with like literally half of the water that I put in here. And I was like, this is dumb. I cooked the ravioli, and what do you call it, I had no idea that the pesto already had olive oil already in there, so it came out pretty olive oily. And yeah, I mean, once the excess olive oil was drained out, it was decent, you know. It was we made do with it, and you know, we just had lunch. Well, anyways, that's really how my day went. Not much, not too exciting and everything. Other than that, my lady left. She went to go pick up her mother so they can go to Costco together. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm here at the house. My boy is out working tonight, which, by the way, boy, I'm making this podcast and hoping that it'll get edited and uploaded in time so you can like kill probably the last few minutes of your shift. But that was it. Well, anyways, I was having trouble trying to find out exactly what I wanted to talk about today, you know? And then inspiration arrived. By the way, I just looked at my camera screen and it says I have 3 hours and 58 minutes left of memory to keep recording, which blows my mind because my old SD card was only 8 gigs and it only allowed me to record about an hour and 4 minutes of video, and this one lets me record just over 4 hours, so that's pretty solid. And it's I think it's a 32 gig or 38, I forgot. Anyways, finally inspiration struck me, and as soon as it happened, I just made me just think about a certain thing that's just been on my mind for years, believe it or not, for years. And that's this. Real quick, before I proceed, I just want to let you guys know that this is a rant that I'm going to go through, most likely. I don't know if I'm going to talk about anything else, but, you know, yeah, it's going to be a rant because, like, this is stuff that just, like, when I start thinking about it, it just really kind of like, bro, why do people do this, you know? Well, anyways, so here's the thing. While my lady left, shortly after she left, probably about like 5 minutes or so, I was just, you know, washing up. My dishwasher's going right now, so you might hear it in a bit. And other than that, that's all I really could do. Just waiting till she can come back so I can get the keys and go to the gym. But yeah, that's really all I was I had to do until I heard something. I heard a piece of wood hit what sounded like the pavement, and it wasn't just like any wood. It was a wood noise that I know too well, which would come from a skateboard. So what do you call it? I went out the window because where I live by a major transportation system. I look out the window and what I see is people looking worried on the other side of this train. And what do you call it? I was just like, man, I was recording. I was like, wow, I wonder what happened. One or two things occurred in my mind because they look like youngsters, like teenagers or something. And one or two things occurred to my mind as they were crouching down and looking underneath the train and just really kind of with their hands on their head. It was either one, which is the most likely scenario, one of them lost their skateboard underneath the train and the train ran it over, and I was like, oh man, there goes my board. Oh, that sucks. Which would suck if that board was, you know, sentimental, because I've had two boards actually that were sentimental to me out of all the ones that I owned. And yeah, both actually got stolen under different circumstances. One when I was a freshman in high school, barely 14 years old. And another one that when I was, how old was I? When I was 24. Yeah, fought 6 dudes at once. In the middle of that fight, someone jacked my I'm bored. Anyways, that's a different story for another day. So yeah, so I kind of understood how that kid must have been feeling. The second one, which I wish is, I could say it's the less likely scenario, but it's not because it's almost as equal to the first one, is that someone ended up getting ran over. And I was just waiting for ambulance and fire and rescue to show up. And I was just going to see some gruesome stuff right outside my window. It wasn't. In the end, it wasn't. I ended up being like, wow. I was just recording and be like, cool. Well, thank God nobody was hurt. I mean, like, maybe their feelings are, but that's really about it. Oh, and by the way, this is for my bro. You already know what time it is, dude. It's just for some ASMR while you stand there. Drinking some tea. It's so good. Anyways, so yeah, so thank goodness nobody was hurt. While I was there, and I was just looking at stuff out, making sure that everything just went back to normal. Not like I have any say on it. I'm just nosy and bored. Freaking the enforcement for that place rolls up, you know, and I know the enforcement for those trains a little too well because I used to work with them for a year and a half. And this is what really annoyed me. So when I was just looking and everything, I thought it was somebody that I used to work with. I had no problems with him. I still don't, I like to say. We have each other on social media, and I would say we're cool. We're cool with each other. The thing that gets to me, and this isn't just with him, it's with multiple different people that I've met throughout my time of, you know, living in this area, is that a couple of them kind of have this mentality that's not so great, and it won't play out so good. And that is, listen, the enforcement for that place, they're not police. All right, they're not. A lot of them are just security, you know, and they just having much power as you and I, because you and I are private citizens that can put anybody in citizen's arrest. They're the same exact thing, except when they work with public officers, then they're an extension of them. Don't quote me on that because I haven't been kept updated with the laws, but my time there, that's exactly how it was. I won't lie, it was a really cool gig. I enjoyed it a lot. I was actually very, very efficient when working that job, and it was amazing. Here's the thing. The thing that bugs me is this. We know, or I knew, and I know they know, that we don't have any more powers than your fellow neighbor and everything like that. The thing is, a lot of them feel that, well, I won't say a lot, a good amount feel that they have higher authority or authority complex or whatever, you know, when they're wearing that uniform. And that's the problem. I remember my first episode, I mentioned that I'm not perfect as well as anybody else. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes, and we all, you know, do dumb, cringy stuff when we're younger. And me working that job is no exception, because I will tell you that even though, yes, I let people know when they asked if I was a cop, and I would let them know that I'm security and everything, sometimes people wouldn't ask. People would assume that I was of higher authority, and it came with perks, you know. I know a lot of them also knew that I was just security. They just, you know, appreciated the type of work that we did and everything that we put in through. But here's the thing. There's this cafe spot like probably a mile and a half, 2 miles away from where I currently reside. And I remember when I was on the clock, when I used to work with them in our old uniform, I used to go up there with one of my buddies, my old trainees, and we used to stop for how does it called, like chai coffee or something, like, yeah, I think that's what it was. 9 out of 10 times we got it for free, along with like a little what is that called? It's like a Middle Eastern. It's like a flaky pastry with green stuff in it and whatever thing like that. I'm gonna remember it later on. I'm gonna hate myself. Trust me. Hopefully, I remember it before this episode's over. Well, yeah. So we used to get those for free, and it was nice. Other places we used to get free stuff also, or in a reduced price, significantly reduced. I remember a couple of times I used to go to Chipotle, and keep in mind I don't like Chipotle like that, but it was the only thing I had to eat at that day. I went to Chipotle. I ordered almost everything in my burrito, almost everything, and how do you call it? It was supposed to come out to like 16, 17 something. It came out to literally $8, and that was with like chips and everything like that. By the way, the Middle Eastern dessert I was thinking about was baklava. They used to serve baklava there. Baklava is a hit or miss with me, but you know, if you offer me one, I'll take it. It's good. Well, anyways, so yeah, it came out with a lot of benefits. A lot of people look to you for guidance. A lot of people look to you for help or whatever. And, you know, it was nice. It was nice to feel that people trusted in you. People believed that you were able to help them far more than you actually were. And if you went above and beyond from your job, what you were given, what was expected of you, it would be rewarding for yourself. You wouldn't get a raise or anything like that. No, I mean, for me, I was working 80 hours a week, earning $12. That was my starting wage, and but I still did it because I enjoyed the job. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying what you do, where you work, how it makes you feel, along with how it makes others feel. There's nothing wrong with it. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest right now. A lot of the times we used to go hands on with people, and those were actually really fun too. Anyways, but on top of doing all that stuff, you have to realize that you yourself are security. You don't have any extra authority over anybody, really. There's things you could probably do, but if someone walks away from you, they walk away. Grab them? No. What? That's you. That's your derriere, you know? Yeah. And I know that a good amount of people had a hard time feeling that way. You know, there's been controversy just like anything else in the world. A couple episodes ago, I talked about, you know, that officer who unfortunately had to end that young woman's life and everything. But that was just to save the life of another young woman who was in the progress of losing hers, you know, the process of losing hers. He had to take one life, but save the other one. Anyways, oh, sorry, that was my neck. Wow, I think that's gonna come out on the sound and everything. Well, anyways, where was I going with that? Yeah. Well, anyways, a lot of people have a hard time, you know, separating what they think they can do in their head versus what they can actually do. And sometimes some of them take it an extra step. And what I'm talking about is there was a trend of people that I used to work with shortly after I finished working there, when Musical.ly became TikTok and everything. TikTok is terrible. And some of the people that I knew started a TikTok, and they would post cringy videos, like really, really cringy videos. And they all just did these dumb skits, these dumb songs and everything like that. Your typical TikTok cringe, except with one difference. One, they did it in the uniform. Well, two differences. One, they did it in the uniforms while on the clock. And two, they would always push hashtag police officer, thin blue line, law enforcement, yada, 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 all that stuff. To the normal civilian eye and everything like that, they would have looked no different than if you were to approach someone wearing the uniform. But for those in that type of work, also those who knew them personally, like myself, it's bad. It's cringe and it's sad most of all and everything, because it's just like, you're not cops. You're not police officers. I mean, like, certain of them were public officers and there was a level of law enforcement, but those were like, as I said, bottom of the barrel law enforcement. That's really just, it doesn't take much, you know? And if that's something that you wanted to work in order to actually become law enforcement at some point in your life, that's completely fine. I remember I had a friend who did that stuff, but in the end, he ended up becoming sheriff and everything. Good for him. Congratulations. But he was one of the very few people that actually took that as a stepping stone, not a place to settle, you know? He took that to enhance his skills, his knowledge of everything of the law, and then became what he was setting out to become. The rest are still there. That's the suckish part. The rest are still there, and they're still trying to give the impression that they are law enforcement when they're not, and it's sad. They're not going to outright tell you that they are. They're not going to be like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. No. They're just going to hint at it, and then basically if you come to with that conclusion yourself, then that's on you. That's not on them. But you know what they're doing. It's kind of like those cringy ass, what do you call it, content creators, quote unquote, who try and make content that engages you, but in reality they're just showing off their breasts. Like, that's the main focus of the video, but they're trying to be like, oh look, I'm actually doing something, so if you're looking here, if this is the only reason you're clicking, then that's your fault, because that's not my trying to be my focus. You know, it's kind of like that. We all see right through them, and it's sad. You know, it's really sad. And yeah, it's just like, how do you say it? It's terrible, because it's like, stop it. I understand that department rules and regulations state that if you're going to post anything on social media in uniform, black out your patches. I totally get that and everything. All law enforcement does that. People at this job do that. But that's not enough. See, there's a couple of old trainees that I have that will black out their patches, but not because they don't want people to see their department, but because on their patches it says security, you know? And our old uniforms used to look like PDs. And what do you call it? There's actually one of the guys that I know that I used to train. He actually not only blacked out his patches and his badge while in full uniform, but he had someone take a photo of him in front of a cop car. And then he, filtered it up, and then he posted it on his social media. And it's kind of like, dude, I know what you're trying to do. We all know what you're trying to do, and it sucks. And the examples I'm talking about right now, it's just examples of people who dabble with that, dabble in trying to make those who don't know any better believe that they're cops without telling them that they're cops. And aside from being annoying and cringe, that's really it. Then there's others who take it a little too far, and one of them, I'm not going to speak of him because he's already in a heap of doo-doo. So I'm just going to leave him out of that. The other one is sad. I'm not going to call him by his name, but it's very, very sad. Give me a second. I have to flip my my record. Hold on. Hear weird noises. Sorry. Give me a second. Hold on. Whiskey girl, you're gonna be a whiskey girl. Come along, take my hand. Let's go to Dragonland. Whatever happened to Dragon Tales? I missed it. There we go. It's time for some ASMR water drinking. Oh man, hydration. No, that's so good. Anyways, this guy is very. It's annoying. Like I said, I'm not going to mention his name, but it's somebody that I knew personally, still know, but I don't speak to him like that because it's just like, well. And before anybody says, "Oh well, why don't you just go and tell him to his face everything that you feel about him, how you feel and everything?" Keep in mind, I already did. I already called him out on it, and I'll do it again because what he does and what he says makes absolutely zero sense. So tell me why this fool, I met him at that job for that enforcement job, and he seemed cool at first. He liked the Punisher, I liked the Punisher. It was fun. Chill dude. One day he comes up and he goes, "Yeah, guys, I put in my 2 weeks." I'm like, "Oh, what for?" He's like, "I got accepted to PD." And we're all like, "Yo, that's huge. Congratulations," you know? And we're all like excited for him. "Hey, bro, that's sick, dude. Congrats. You worked hard for it then, you know, yada, yada." And then like we got the date. That was going to be his last day. Fast forward to his last day. He arrives. I'm like, "Yo, dude, again, congratulations. It was great working with you. We're going to miss you and everything. Just really congratulations." And he's like, "Yeah, you know." And then in his last day, I remember asking him, I was like, "Yo, hey, so today's your last day. When are you going to start the academy? You know?" And then this is his response. "Dog, for the 1,000th time, I already graduated the academy and everything." And I'm like, "You graduated the academy? The only way you could actually do that is if you put yourself through post. And that's like $10,000, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Unless you get student financial aid or something." But I'm just like, "What?" And I was just like, "Then why aren't you a cop if you already passed it, like graduated?" And he goes, "Because I just wanted to try something else." And I was like, "So you're working a job where you pretend to be a cop instead of being out there actually being a cop? That's kind of like weird, you know?" Well, anyways, I just let it be. Whatever. It's not my concern of mine or anything like that. Next day, get up, get ready, work out, shower, eat, get changed, go to work, get there. And that's when I see him. That's when I see him at work. And I'm like, "Dude, wasn't yesterday your last day?" And he just tried to ignore the question. And then I start hearing from everybody else that every time they ask them what happened, why is he here? If his last day was yesterday, he would just ignore the question or make up something on the spot. You know, remember last episode when I was talking about the whole when you lie and you're trying to make up a story that sounds believable, you kind of end up talking choppy and slow. Yeah, that's what he did. And so what do you call it? So I knew right there that this guy was an iffy guy. So it's just whatever. I remember once I made a joke about him. Me and my buddy ended up making up a nickname for him called PD and then his last name. I'm not gonna say it, but like what do you call it? He didn't like it. So one day I told him, "Hey, aren't you," like, I think we were roasting each other. And then one time I told him, like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be at PD right now?" And then like I think that got to him because he kind of tried to pull me aside. He's like, "Hey, you want me to tell you why I'm not there?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't care." Like, I really don't. You know, I already know you're lying to me, so I don't care about your lies. So I had a buddy. I don't talk to him much anymore, but I had a buddy who that guy went to go visit him at his area of work, and he was telling my buddy, "Yeah, I'm a police officer for El Cajon PD." Thing is, he couldn't have picked the worst person to tell that to, because my buddy, he has a good amount of friends who are El Cajon police, and he goes, "Oh, really? Who? Like, when'd you graduate? When was your graduation date? Who's your FTO? You know, are you past the FTO phase? Did you pass your probation?" He was like, "Who do you work with? What shift?" And he wasn't able to really answer any of them. So my buddy, what did he do? He picked up his phone and he called one of his friends who was on the clock at that point and was like, "Hey, drop by this area. Just want to talk to you real quick." When his friend arrived, my buddy turned around and he told me that dude, he was gone. He was like, "All right, I gotta go. See ya," and he just left. And I was like, "Bro, what the heck?" I heard he was PD for SD, El Cajon, National City, Chula Vista, all these different PDs. This guy moved to a different state and he said that he was that state's PD. And I was like, "You were a state police officer? You mean a marshal or an actual state police?" You know? Next thing I know, he comes back and then he goes back over there to that different state. And then he hits up my buddy and he comes out with this insane story. "Yeah, I ended up having to use my service weapon to eliminate a threat at this grocery store, and all of my rounds hit the target, the 10 ring, center mass. I was like, "What?" Like, what? So I kept trying to ask him. I was like, "Yo, where did it happen? What date? What do you call it? What were you doing?" And he was like, "No, I was just security for that place." "Oh, what happens to being PD?" And then like, how do you say it? He was dodging my questions. I asked my buddy to ask him because me and my buddy were playing Xbox and I could hear the other dude through the headset. And I was telling him like, "Hey, so when did it happen? Where? I'll look it up. If it's something that has to do with, the loss of another life, it's pretty huge, especially when multiple rounds had to be fired." "Yeah, no, I want to know. I want to read it because right now I don't believe you. So I just really want to find out." So he dodged the questions. He was like, "All right, well, I'll call you later with the info." I was like, "Why don't you just tell me right now?" Weeks passed by, nothing. Then he called my buddy again when me and him were playing. Me and my buddy play a lot. And what do you call it? I was like, "No, ask him. Ask him. I'm still waiting for the information." Dude hung up pretty quick. Third time's the charm. Because I told him, I was like, "Hey, yo, put the phone up to your earpiece. I want to be able to talk to him and hear what he's saying." So we ended up connecting with each other, weirdly enough, through that. Anyways, when I was asking him all those questions, he was just trying to make up these weird excuses. And it's just like, "There's this store out here that's called like this name." And I was like, "Okay, cool. That's a pretty big common store. It's kind of like a Safeway or a Vons, And how do you call it? He was just like, "Yeah, but there was two. One was the bigger one at this area, but I was over at this area." I was like, "Okay, so who was the law enforcement that responded?" It was this law enforcement, but not them. And I'm like, "What was their agency? What was the name of their agency? I just want to know that. Where was the city that what you were involved in occurred? I want to know that. What date did it happen? I want to know that." So I was putting all these specific information, trying to search it up. Nothing. Just absolutely nothing. His response, "Well, the media is not going to report in every single shooting." I'm like, "Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Especially when it happens in such a high traffic area like that supermarket, And so I just I just called him down right there. He was like, "You think I'm lying?" I'm like, "Yeah, 100% I do. I think you lied about every single time you said you were in law enforcement. I think you lied every single time you said you graduated the academy unless you paid for it yourself. And I'm like, I think you're lying to being in the academy right now. I think you're lying about ever being a cop. And it's just like, you've graduated so many times. I swear to God, you're certified in all 50 states. And it's just like, that's how much you keep repeating the same story. Yes, I do think you're a liar. You know, I have a feeling that kind of got to him because I haven't heard. Well, I mean, I'm sure he talked to my buddy and everything like that, but me personally, I haven't heard a word from him since. How do you call it? Oh, he also unfriended me on Facebook a while back, but that was because me and my buddy were ragging on him and he didn't like it. This dude's TikToks are cringy as all heck. You know, they're insanely bad, and they're just terrible. And this dude, what he does is terrible because it's like, we've seen cases over and over again. If you guys watch Donut Operator, you guys will see it there. Oh, and especially if you guys search up Jeremy DeWitt. Oh my God, that guy is terrible. Anyways, there's so many cases of people going out there. They're buying vehicles and decking them out in lights out of their own pocket, sirens out of their own pocket. They're buying them one tone, mainly Ford Explorers, not Ford Explorers, Crown Vics. Those are the car of choice, and they're just trying to convince the world that they're cops. And a lot of them, just like those who pretend they're in the military and then they have those stolen valor videos, a lot of them get caught. And a good amount of them get into legal trouble because that's a crime. To say you're law enforcement and you're not. To say you're in the military and you're not. That's a crime. And he is guilty of both. Yet, he's still doing it. And that's dumb. And you know how bad it is? The first guy I said I wasn't going to talk to you about, which is true, I'm not going to go into detail, but it ended with him getting in trouble. And it's not good, you know? So it's just like, with somebody we mutually know, when we know what's going on with them at the current moment, you'd think you'd come with enough sense to just stop. But you don't. And that's the part that further solidifies my impression of you, which is somebody who is a chronic liar and is constantly looking for validation from others. And that's a terrible way to do it. You know, I mean, go to a Facebook page. I'm sure there's Facebook pages for validation. I'm sure there's, like, you know, a whole Reddit subreddit of things that, you know, you'd feel comfortable in or whatever. I don't know, maybe you do what I'm doing. Grab a camera, grab a mic, write sketches, and just make yourself to be a hero. It's working for Patty Mayo. I mean, Patty Mayo is another one. Patty Mayo is a dude who tried to convince the world he was a real bounty hunter, you know? Tried to convince the world he was a real bounty hunter. And then people, like, I'm not gonna lie, me and my boy, we thought he was legit, really, because me and my boy, we tried and eventually we succeeded in that goal of being actual bounty hunters. But how do you say it? We thought he was legit. As more and more that guy grew in popularity, the more we started taking notice that a lot of the stuff that he does, the way he films, the way he has his camera crew, his sounds, everything like that, was just a little too clean and a little too cinematic for compared to his older stuff. You could say, oh, you know, people donate to him and he's able to buy more equipment. He's able to buy. Give me a second, guys. My cat's trying to jump somewhere where she's not allowed. Hold on. Get down. Get down. Get down. No. My bad, guys. Like you could, like I was saying, you could say he got to where he's at because of all the donations, because, you know, all the stuff he saved up to get and everything. And you wouldn't be wrong. Yeah, a lot of people donated to him, and there's nothing wrong if you want to support somebody. and you like what they do and you want to help them get better so they can continuously provide you more of what you like and get better at it, there's nothing wrong with donating to them. That's completely fine. I've done it before, but I've only done it with people I actually really, 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 really saw huge potential in. And, you know, they lived up to that potential. The thing is, with Patty Mayo, he was convincing people that he was a real bounty hunter. And then once you really start paying attention to his videos, you start seeing it wasn't only the way it was filmed or anything cinematic at that point. It was also, excuse me. It was also the fact that, what was the word? Yeah, he had a formula to his videos. He was pumping out videos over and over again. I mean, like, constantly. And that was cool. More content. But they all followed the same formula. Introduction, looking for them, finding them. They all fight, which, let me tell you, in real life, they don't all fight. But some of them do. And then he takes them to jail. At the beginning, it was entertainment because it was believable. But the more it got choreographed, the more unbelievable it became. And that's what me and my boy came to the conclusion. Yeah, no, this guy is most likely faking it. You know? More like faking it. Give me a second. ASMR times. I'm drinking some tea and water. It's hella good. Anyways. So yeah, we knew that guy was faking it. So, more videos started coming out. I slowly stopped watching his videos and his friends' videos. And so did my buddy. Then one day, this guy starts advertising on his Twitter. Little pictures here and there of little areas, you know, partial of whatever item he was taking a picture of. And he goes, yeah, I've been busy the last 6 months. Yeah, this, and that, you know. Turns out that dude was advertising that he was now sheriff's. He was a sheriff's deputy. And, how do you call it? And that he was in the academy this entire time. Let me tell you something. You don't become sheriffs and immediately start driving the vehicle and start having your camera crew with you. Your call sign, well, I'm not going to speak for all agencies, but generally your call sign isn't the same as your badge number. And what are the odds that the guy who used to do YouTube prank videos and Uber prank videos and everything, his call sign and his badge number are 420, you know? That's kind of a big coincidence, you know? Anyways, it was debunked, especially from Donut Operator. No, he's not a sheriff. He was never even a bounty hunter and everything. Finally, after being pressured so much, it became clear and it became confirmed by Patty Mayo himself that he is not a bounty hunter and he's not sheriffs. The videos he does is purely for entertainment, as we all already figured out. And for those who don't know who Patty Mayo is, I'm pretty sure you guys will recognize that video with that guy saying pineapple juice over and over again. Yeah, that's Patty Mayo. Anyways, so we all figured. The thing is, I slowly started watching his stuff again after that, because at least now he admitted, yes, he's an entertainer. He's not here doing these jobs legitimately. He's just here doing these videos to entertain. I love that. I really do. By that point, I already found a bunch of other bounty hunting channels that were actually legitimate. So I started watching him with the eyes of just wanting to be entertained. Like, it's no difference from watching, you know, The Rookie or Southland and everything like that. So, how do you say it? That was until Patty Mayo was like, just want to let you guys know that I'm starting this new bounty hunting series, and this is all real. All of it is real. I'm really certified. These are real gangs, real fugitives, real weapons. They're all real. Yada, 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 yada. So now it's all real. All the bounty hunting footage that he's doing right now, all of it is real, which I'm having a very, very, very hard time believing that it is. Just because you say it's real doesn't mean It's real. Just like that one guy who says he's a cop, but he's not really a cop, you know? It's like you got called out once. You're basically forced to admit it because that was all people were focusing on you. And then now you're being like, no, this is real now. Okay, dude. Yeah, sure. And it's like, come on. I like the idea of having a camera crew and stuff like that, but it's just like a lot of your shots are just a little too clean, you know? Anyways, the final nail on the coffin was when me and my boy were getting certified and everything. Our instructor told us a couple of experiences that he had during our sessions and everything like that. And one of them was that because our instructor was a famous bounty hunter who also had his own actual series. And he was telling us how that guy, Patty Mayo, ended up contacting him like back in 2018, 19, I forgot when. So ended up contacting him, and he's like, hey, listen, I want to take your class, and I want you to certify me. And my instructor was like, yeah, sure, that's fine, those are my fees. And he was like, but I don't want anybody else in that classroom. My instructor was just like, no, I'm gonna be losing on money. No, that's not how it works. And it's just like, oh, because my fans can't know that I'm not a real bounty hunter. And it's just like, yeah, no. So it's just like, come on, my instructor even had to deny him that course and everything. I don't know. It was funny when I heard it. I thought it was funny. But yeah, no, that's just my whole thing about, pretending to be something that you're not. It's going to all catch up with you eventually. I mean, like, it caught up with Patty Mayo, and he has a huge fan base. Now that he admitted, well, when he admitted it was all fake, I started kind of respecting him again. But then he went like, no, this is all real now. And it's like, no. All right, you just went right back down on my list again. But yeah, so that's just my whole stuff. People do little things here and there to try and convince the world that they're something superiors. And don't get me wrong, this type of work, it does have its rewards for the fact that if your goal in life is to be anything, you're remotely even close to the field of law enforcement, and you find a job or you have a job that will help you achieve that goal, by all means, take advantage of it. Try and learn as much as you can. Try and be out there as much as you can and soak in as much information as you can. Trust me, I have learned so many codes in my time working at the places that I worked that I never thought I would ever do anything like that in my life, but I did, and I ended up loving it. Really loving it. Learning certain tactics, certain lingo, certain how to even how to just say the alphabet alphabetically and everything like that. It is just practice. And a lot of those stuff become valuable tools. Like when I first moved down here, something minor, well, at least what I consider minor, is knowing where north, south, east, and west is without a compass and without a map. Learn your terrain, learn your environment. Pay attention to which direction you start walking in if you don't have any signs, if you don't have any clear roads or any like big landmarks. Just learn those stuff. It's a valuable skill. I remember when I first moved down here and my first job, my first FTO, he was like eastbound, westbound, northbound, southbound, and everything. I was just like, where is any of this, But as more time kept going and the more I kept trying to implement exactly which direction was what, the more I learned. And it got to the point where, honestly, I can just look at a direction and know where I'm going. It took me a while to learn that the sun rises to the east and sets to the west, which direction I'm facing, where is it going and everything. It got to the point where I could almost call anything on a dime. But that was just practice. And that was years of it. So there's valuable skills. There is valuable skills. Take advantage of it. But don't get caught up on the dumb stuff. Just because your friends are like, oh, we can get free stuff if we pretend we're what we're not. Don't get caught up in that. Because honestly, at some point, you're going to get found out. And I'm not saying you're going to get in any legal trouble, even though that is a possibility, seeing how far you take it. But yeah, people are just gonna see you for who you are. And do you want them to see you as someone reliable, trustworthy, honest, reliable? I said reliable twice, I think. Or do you want them to see you as a joke, as a liar, you know, as somebody who's just dishonest, you know? It's terrible. We all make mistakes, and we will all continue to do some dumb, cringy stuff. I'm 28, and I would love to think that my cringy moments are over, but I also thought my cringy moments were over when I was 24, and they weren't. And I know I'm still gonna do some dumb stuff in the future. I don't know what, but it might happen. But it's just like, just learn from your past, learn from who you are, learn from others. And honestly, all I can say is be true to not only others, but be true to yourself. You know, if you want to achieve a goal, find out what it takes to achieve it and work on it. That's what I'm doing. A wake-up call happened to me like a few weeks ago, and I've been working on myself ever since. So that's all I can really say to you right now, or to you guys. And I just hope you guys find out what you need to find out fast, or soon, or whenever. And just, go for it. Just go for it. You don't want to go your entire life kind of being like, man, if I didn't just wish I was doing something and actually worked for it, I could probably have been there already. That's just how everything goes in life. So I don't know how long that took. I think like my camera says like 51 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm sure when I edit this, it's probably going to say a little longer of a time. But yeah, it's just something that short little moment outside my window literally brought all of this out. And I know there's so much more I want to say, but usually I'm doing better with writing stuff out on my phone and then trying to segue into topics as smoothly as possible. But right now it just happened. I don't know when my lady's gonna be home. I can't really podcast with anybody in the house. The only ones that like podcasting in the house are my cats, and that's it, because I feel a lot more comfortable when I'm doing it alone. I don't know, maybe I'll get over that in the future. I have no idea. But this was my whole thing today. This was just my whole thing. And honestly, I just gotta say thank you guys for just spending your almost hour of a time just listening to me talk about dumb stuff. There is gonna be more I'm gonna want to talk about. Trust me. And I'll probably pick it up in a future episode. I don't know. My boy, he wants to, like I said, he wants to come on the podcast soon. I would love to have, honestly, I could have him in our next mutual day off. But the problem is, I don't want him to be using my old microphone, because that was the microphone that was just like shh all the time. I heard the difference between my own videos and the one I posted up last time. Let me tell you, the difference is phenomenal. It's incredible. I love it. So I'm just gonna get another one of these. I still gotta get a new podcast arm, but it'll come with time. It really will come in time. And I'm just glad I was able to actually say this and put it in audio form for whoever sees it can see it. I'm not here to talk crap about people. Well, maybe sometimes, but like I'm more here to just really spread awareness. It doesn't necessarily have to be with the field of law enforcement. It could be anywhere. Like real quick, one last thing. When I was younger, when I graduated high school and everything like that, I started working at this place called Jimmy John's back home. I worked there for 2.5 years. And those 2.5 years, I met this girl. I'm not going to say her name, but I met this girl. She, for some reason, felt the need to try and impress everyone, which wasn't good. Because sometimes she came up with the most outrageous stories. Let me tell you, if someone tells me, let me spit this. Just close your eyes, or don't. I'm not your father. But if somebody tells you, like a girl tells you, yeah, I used to be a boxer. I wanted to go pro. I was trying to go pro. And I used to train with Golden Boy. And I ended up lightly sparring with Pacquiao. And I even sparred with Mayweather Jr. How does that girl look in your mind? You know, she's slender, or is she muscular cut? She must be, how do you call it, very, very in top shape, because she's fighting against some of the greats. You know, she's sparring with some of the greats. She went out there. She should have a huge social media following, you'd think, right? I mean, that's just what I think. To try and build your portfolio, your virtual portfolio. This girl's accomplished. She has skill. And something about them, you know that they're friendly, but you know that when the mess hits the fan, they'll be able to back their talk up, right? She was none of that. She was none of that. She was like 5'3". She was like most likely 150 pounds overweight. It was like, oh, maybe she was a heavyweight. No, she wasn't. Because she came to work one day spinning a tale of how her and her guy she was seeing were attempted to get jumped by this one other guy, and she popped out her boxing skills and just messed that dude up. So all I did, because I was actually fighting at that point in my life, like a lot. I was actually fighting. I was like, okay, well, show me the stance. Show me what he did. Oh my God. The stance she made was laughable. She put her right leg directly behind her lead leg. Like literally making a straight line, or one foot straight line to the other. No balance at all. She didn't even try closing her fists. Her thumbs were put inside of her other fingers. If she threw a punch that way, she would break her thumb for sure. She had no idea what she was doing. Her stance was laughable. It was the stance of somebody who saw fighting on TV and just never really bothered to practice it. It sucked. I knew she wasn't legit, and everybody knew she wasn't legit. But it was just like, it's just that type of stuff. The point of me telling you this is because it's to show you that people like that come in any type of work, you know, any type of work. And before anybody goes like, oh, what about you? I admit that I've done cringy stuff, but I haven't lied like that. I mean, I have a bunch of videos on my phone that I used to back myself up because it's me. It's me doing the stuff for reals. So yeah, but it brings me up to another point. I'm negating my training heavily. I haven't fought in over a year, and I am feeling it. I am noticing it, and it sucks. I hate this feeling. I need to change it, and fast. But yeah, that was just my whole entire thing. Don't be like that is the bottom line. just don't be like that. You know, it's easier said than done. I get it. It's like a lot of things, but just don't be like that. We can all, like, if you want to impress people, cool, but actually do stuff that's worth doing that will impress people, you know? Put yourself out there. Become someone huge. Become somebody who your friends, your family are like, wow, whoa, they're really doing that? That's crazy, you know? It could be running a company. It could be a manager somewhere. It could be you being an entrepreneur, you being any form of law enforcement, the military, a celebrity, a musician, something that you want to do, and others will be stoked that you're doing it. I mean, like, that's what I'm trying to do. And although I love feeling the approval of others, it's like I know that, and you know, them gassing me up, I know I need to be doing stuff in order to receive those reactions, you know? I can't just expect it. I need to do something about it. So yeah. So what do you call it? Other than that, on a side note, it is really hot in my apartment right now. So hot. I need to open this window. I need to turn on this AC and fan because it is just really hot, and I need to find a way to soundproof this area a little more so that way I can actually keep those things on and open and not really disrupt the excuse me, disrupt the audio of this. Even though this mic is pretty solid. I am so happy that I got this mic. Other than that, all I can say is, again, thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me, tuning into this podcast, and just, the people that watch, just listening. I don't care that every video only garners like 8 to 10 views. That's fine. That's 8 to 10 people that listen to me. And yeah, hoping for a little bit more. Be stoked for Moon Knight, March 30th. I'm a little sad, but still happy. So yeah, thank you guys for coming in for another episode of The Mind of Mando. I am your host, Armando Ortega, and I wish you guys a very, very lovely night. See you.